Have you ever found yourself in a battle where it feels like the outcome is completely out of your hands? One of those situations where your own strength just isn't enough? Well, today we're diving into a powerful idea from the Bible that speaks right into that feeling.
Our journey starts right here, in Exodus chapter 17, verse 15. So after this absolutely wild battle, what does Moses do? He doesn't build a statue to his army or write a book about his brilliant strategy. No, he builds an altar, and he gives it this very specific, very interesting name. The Lord is my banner.
It's a great name, but what does it actually mean? Seriously, what on earth can a story about a banner from thousands of years ago teach us about the challenges we're facing right now? At work, in our families, or even just inside our own heads. Let's dig in and find out.
To really get what this banner is all about, we first have to understand the battle that led to it. And trust me, this wasn't just any old fight. This was a make-or-break moment for the entire nation of Israel.
So picture this. The people of Israel are brand new to freedom, they're wandering in the desert, and all of a sudden, bam, they're attacked by this ruthless enemy, the Amalekites. Their very survival is hanging by a thread. Down in the valley, a guy named Joshua is leading the charge. But the real key to this battle isn't happening down there with the swords and shields. Nope, it's happening up on a nearby hill.
And up on that hill, something incredible is playing out. Check this out. As long as Moses is standing there with the staff of God held high in the air, Israel's army is winning. But the second his arms get tired and start to droop, the Amalekites push back and start to win. The tide of the entire battle was literally rising and falling with Moses' hands.
Now this is the turning point. Moses just can't do it alone. He's only human. And seeing him struggle, his friends Aaron and Hur don't just, yell, "You got this, Moses," from the sidelines. No, they get involved. They physically come to his side, they grab a rock for him to sit on, and each one of them grabs an arm, holding them steady until the sun goes down and the victory is complete.
So the battle is finally won. Awesome! But the story doesn't stop there, because Moses wanted to make sure everyone understood exactly how they won. And this brings us to our first huge takeaway.
The point was impossible to miss. Israel's success had absolutely nothing to do with being better fighters or having a smarter game plan. The victory came from above. It was a live-action demonstration of what we call vertical dependence. Their victory was a direct result of God fighting on their behalf.
And here's why that is so important for us today. We all have our own battles, right? Maybe for you it's a nagging temptation, a fear that just won't go away, or a conflict that seems impossible to solve. Our first instinct is almost always to try harder, to be smarter, to rely on our own strength. But this story screams at us that real, lasting victory is only found when we depend on God's power, not our own.
So how do we actually do this? Well, first, get in the habit of turning to God first, not as a last resort. Before you start planning and stressing, pray. Second, constantly remind yourself that any success you have is because of His help. And finally, when you get that victory, be quick to give Him all the credit.
But depending on God was only half the lesson from that day on the hill. There is a second principle here that is just as important, and we can't miss it.
Think about it. Moses was the main guy, the one with the staff of God. But he got tired. He was human. So God's plan for victory didn't just involve His own supernatural power, it also involved the very human support of Aaron and Hur. God actually worked through the community to get the job done.
And the message for us is so clear. Your faith was never meant to be a solo journey. Period. We are so much stronger together. So often God's help doesn't show up in a flash of lightning. It shows up in the form of a friend who sends an encouraging text, a mentor who prays with us, or a church family that helps carry our burdens when we feel like we just can't take another step.
This means we have to be proactive. Go find wisdom from believers who've been at this longer than you have. When you're in a tough spot, don't just hide, ask people to pray with you. And just as important, keep your eyes open for who you can support. Be an Aaron or a Hur for someone else. Staying plugged into your community is absolutely vital.
Okay, so we've got these two massive ideas working together. Total dependence on God, that's the vertical piece, and real, tangible support from His people, that's the horizontal piece. And that brings us right back to that altar Moses built. When Moses named that altar, "The Lord is my banner," he was making a huge public declaration. He was planting a flag for everyone to see and saying, "Look at this amazing victory. This wasn't us. This was all Him." A banner is a rallying point, right? It declares who you fight for and who gives you the win. And for us, that banner is the Lord himself.
So as we finish up, let's make this super practical. This story isn't just about getting help, it's about giving it too. So, who is it? Who in your life right now is feeling tired? Whose arms could you help hold up, either through a prayer or just a simple word of encouragement this week? Because that is how we live this out. That is how we make the Lord our banner together.